Hey guys, there's a character called Everecho. She's gonna release in version 3.8 as the first character. She's gonna be the sustained character for the instrument archetype and therefore a must pull. Her kit just released, so let's go over it together and figure out what is actually going on here. She is, as I said, a instrument character, but let's still read it out here. Her passive says, does not obtain regular incantations or ultimate. Uses energy to trigger an instrument to cast incantations. Moxie is replaced by harmonization. When entering battle, grants all allies the following effect. After they lose HP, they gain a buff called Remnant Thought. Based on the percentage of HP lost. The percentage of HP lost determines on how many stacks of Remnant Thought you get. Remnant Thought does the following. When HP is reduced to 1, your remaining damage, right? So let's say you have 100 HP left and I will deal 200 damage to you. Then the remaining damage that would be left after your HP would hit 1 will then be absorbed by Remnant Thought. The more overlapping damage I would deal to you, the more stacks of Remnant Thought you would need in order for you to survive and have the damage that is overflowing absorbed. The buff Remnant Thought is accumulated based on energy consumed by all allies. Her insight number 1 says, at the start of the round, increases self-harmonization, that is your Moxie, restores HP to all allies based on how many stacks of Remnant Thought you have. Her insight number 3 says, when entering battle, all allies' damage taken reduction increases. When ally instrument characters' harmonization overflows, it temporarily is stored. At the end of the round, if self-harmonization has remaining capacity, it is replenished. When entering battle, increases self-harmonization. Okay, now there is a mechanic called repair that says, after accumulating a certain number of stacks, allows restarting self's instrument in depletion. Repair is a buff that you accumulate every time you would survive by absorbing damage thanks to Remnant Thought. Okay, now let's go and check out her incantations. Her incantation number 1 is called What Yesterday Thought. It costs you 0 mineral energy, 0 energy cost. It depletes though, aka it exhausts. Now, keep that in mind for later when we talk about her incantation number 2. What incantation number 1 does though is, this is a mass attack, it deals reality damage to all enemies, it grants all allies damage bonus based on how high Everecho's attack stat is. Based on the number of stacks, you additionally increase the damage bonus, obviously. And you increase your harmonization. This is how it looks like. Let's play that one more time. There you go. Let's check out her incantation number 2. This also costs you 0 energy. Now keep in mind that whenever you would deplete your incantation number 1, that would mean you cannot play your incantation number 1 ever again unless you use your incantation number 2. Let's check out how that works. Her incantation number 2 does. It is a mass heal. It restores HP to all allies based on Everecho's attack stat. It cleanses all debuffs from all allies, and it increases your harmonization. Now, when you cast this, you consume a lingering light. That is a buff that you, or it buff or debuff, however you want to call it, right? This is a mechanic that you attach to yourself once you deplete, or aka use, your incantation number 1. When you now use your incantation number 2, you absorb, you consume this lingering light. And if lingering light is depleted, if it is absorbed, this incantation number 2 would instead act as an incantation number 1. Let me explain that real quick one more time. Whenever you would use your incantation number 1, you would gain a debuff. Now with this debuff on, you are not allowed to use your incantation number 1 again. You have to get rid of this debuff first. In order for you to do that, you use your incantation number 2. But if you use your incantation number 2 to get rid of this debuff, then your incantation number 2 is not actually your incantation number 2, but instead it would act as an incantation number 1. AKA, if you use your incantation number 1 first and you have that debuff, then you would need to first use your incantation number 2 to get rid of the debuff, and it would act as an incantation number 1. Once you have gotten rid of the debuff, or you don't have that debuff from your incantation number 1 to begin with, then and only then does your incantation number 2 act as your actual incantation number 2. This is how it looks like. Let's watch that one more time. There we go. Now onto her ultimate, called Reunion in Memory. That is a mass attack. It deals reality damage to all enemies. After attacking, inflicts all enemies with a decrease in reality defense, mental defense, and critical defense. It grants all allies damage bonus increase. It grants ally instrument characters an increase in critical damage based upon how high your stacks of your damage bonus increases are. After attacking, if you are inflicted with the debuff of your incantation number 1, then this ultimate would cast your incantation number 2 if you are inflicted with the debuff of your incantation number 1. Otherwise, if you are not inflicted with the debuff of your incantation number 1, this ultimate would cast your incantation number 1. And that is gonna be about it when it comes to the kit of Everecho. Here's what the ultimate looks like. Okay, let's watch that one more time, just to make sure. There we go. So, what is the conclusion out of all of this? First of all, this is obviously, right, a must pull, because it is the sustain character that you will absolutely need for your instrument archetype. This is a top tier sustain character because she does everything for basically 0 cost, you know? You have to play a little bit around with this debuff of your incantation number 1. This is no issue at all, because both of her incantations are actually of 0 cost. You can just do them for free. And she has a beautiful synergy with the character Coppelia, because thanks to having Everecho on your team, you will produce more mineral energy into your hand, which Coppelia wants and needs in order for her to act and use her incantations. I always stress a lot that as a sustain character, you really want, or you have, in order for you to be a top tier sustain character, you have to have the ability to consistently cleanse all of the debuffs from your entire team. Guess what? Everecho has exactly that with her incantation number 2 though. So you gotta be a little bit careful to actually play her correctly. Additionally, you will sometimes be in a little bit of a bummer situation. Very, very rarely, because again, your incantations are played for free. They come with 0 energy cost. So this scenario will occur to you very rarely. But you cannot use your incantation number 2, as you will suffer the debuff from your incantation number 1, and therefore the incantation number 2 would act as an incantation number 1, and that would not let you to heal your team and cleanse their debuffs that turn, probably, right? Very rare occasion. Mostly you will just play this incantation number 2 as an incantation number 2. That is like pretty much guaranteed because of the 0 energy cost. Sometimes you won't though. And even if you won't, it doesn't matter, as you restore the HP of all allies at the start of every single round. Anyways, you know. Of course, you have to have this Remnant Thought buff onto yourself, which is no problem, because you gain this buff every time an ally of yours consumes energy, which Regulus and Coppelia will constantly do every single turn anyways. So it is free here, passively for 0 AP. Your incantations, they heal you, they cleanse your debuffs, they buff your team with damage bonus, they deal damage to all enemies, and they do this for completely free. You know, it's actually pretty insanely nuts. You debuff your opponents with by decreasing their reality defense, their mental defense, their critical defense, and everything like that. It is really an all around very, very strong character. No matter where you look in this kit, where will you find something that is like detrimental, or that would like crazy nerf the character, or anything. Every single thing here, from all of the insights, from the passive, both incantations, the ultimate, everything is just really, really good and very, very beneficial for your entire team. And on top of that, you will have to pull for her anyways, no matter what, because she's the only instrument sustain character available in the game. And therefore, Everecho is an absolute fantastic character with 0 downsides. The only way this would be even better would be if she would be from the Star Afflatus to generate energy for Regulus instead of Coppelia. But that would be about it. Everything else in her kit is perfect, right? So, I mean, that's all I can tell you for this character. It's a must pull. It is a fantastically good character that you have to have. And that's it for Everecho, guys. I hope that was fun and informative. When it comes to how to play her, it's very, very simple. She will kind of play herself, because her incantations, again, they cost 0. Things happen passively anyways by you just using your other 2 characters. So there's nothing crazy when it comes to gameplay mechanics for Everecho, other than you having to be careful and play around the debuff that you get by using your incantation number 1. That's not too much of a big deal, because you will always get rid of that debuff for free anyways. And you don't even have to use your incantation number 1 in the first place. So that's it, right? I hope that was fun and informative. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.